Hello and welcome. My name is Esther. I'm an energy healer and intuitive. And today I just felt the call to climb literally to the top of a mountain for this reading. Because the energy is just so intense, right? Especially for light workers and starseeds. And you may feel like you are just climbing those mountains. And it is just strenuous and challenging, facing those fears. So today's reading is primarily based around what fears are you overcoming, what is the best advice, and how can you move through these times? Because we just had the eclipse, we've had all these new moons, we're now in September and nearing more of the end of September, and it's like, oh my gosh, how much more can I take with these challenges? So we're going to take these top 3 cards. And we're going to see what Work Your Light Oracle has to say. And then we're going to get clarifiers on it and see best advice. So I am both a light worker, a healer, an intuitive, energy healer, an artist. I do many, many things in the world, including these readings, just for essentially the collective, right? Anyone is a light worker when they're really honestly developing the self. So if you are now emerging into developing yourself and really coming back into inner honor, then this reading is for you. So firstly, you got Akasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. Amazing. So I don't know if you can see that. We've got these beautiful sunlight streams pouring through. The sun is doing her own work, or his own work. The second light worker message that you got was Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in subtle realms. Amazing. Already the forces are in your favor, clearly. And this is when, you know, your willingness to do the work is really what pours in the rewards, right? So it's like, what fears are you needing to face, and what inner honesty are you really needing to establish? You also got yes, just say yes. So there you go, right? Amazing. So collective, if you, first and foremost, also, if you found this reading, that's rare in itself, because I am so unknown on YouTube. I primarily do my work in local communities, and I'm very new on doing anything online. However, I've always felt the pull to really reattain and reestablish kind of the cultivation to not only be the voice that's saying you're not alone in this, you're not alone in your fears, but you're also not alone in this forward movement of humanity, because we are in a consciousness evolution. We are in a time of really stepping out of the matrix and purging out the old, and purging out the old conditioning that has kept a lot of humanity stuck. A lot are already kind of in the new wave, and a lot are emerging into the new wave, and a lot are sensorially, through your senses, through your emotions and your feelings, feeling that pull to really step into your authenticity, your gifts, and your true authority. So this requires a radical honesty, right? And not easy, because that means that you are now having to face so many fears on so many levels, and really keep forging forth to climb those mountains, right? Like we are today for this reading. So first and foremost, with your guidance is divinely guided, what I see in this card is there's a lot of Egyptian energy. Now, Egypt carries its own Akashic record of so many synchronicities and so much wisdom of what humanity already has experienced, and we're ultimately reawakening into that remembrance. We're ultimately reawakening into that wisdom and that higher capacities of self, right? The divinity within. But divinity means, honestly, to honor both the light and the dark of your own inner being, your soul. And it also means the capacity and the strength and the willingness to step in to your truest self, your truest authority. For then, when you hold that inner light coming from the heart forces, especially, heart forces of humanity are a very profound and high frequency that the entire galaxy actually is learning from and needs now more than ever. So to honor the self, to step back into the self, and to come back into the heart forces of self, that radical honesty of where have I limited myself? Where have my fears kept me stuck? Is a profound time, right? And this honeybee buzzing around me right now, exactly that, right? Of the hive mind. And where are you breaking free to also collect the honey and to pour out that nutrients? You know, as we all know, honeybees are immensely important and valuable for our ecosystem. Without them, we wouldn't have all the plants and the fruit and the seeding of pollination to thrive. So this is where you are being called now to also repollinate, to allow the higher consciousness to thrive. And to do so means to step into your inner authority, to step into your honesty, to step into your heart forces, to step into whom you truly are, and to not fear that, to hold radical acceptance of the self, regardless of external judgments or opinions that hold no weight anymore. It is your opinion, your authority that matters. So with Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided. I really see in this card like this doorway, like you're stepping into the new hallway, right? You're stepping into this new found dream state of understanding of the true elements of paradigms. And even this card in itself is quite dreamlike, so you may want to pay attention to your dreams. Your guidance is divinely guided means trust your inner sensory elements of your body, right? If you feel anxiety or fear or overwhelm or guilt, or you're trying to remain small to make others comfortable, you're not aligned. To be in alignment means your nervous system feels calm, it feels uplifted, it feels inspired. You have no need to explain the why of whom you are or what you're doing, but rather it's already seen. It's already seen by the environment around you. It's honored. It is just calm and peaceful and loving, right? Because those who really genuinely are for you will always support your thriving. They will always support your success, even if it's different from what they know. So we're going to get a little bit of tarot on this. Your guidance is divinely guided. So Spirit, for the collective, any advice on that? Your guidance is divinely guided. Today we are going to take reversals. So I typically read upright, but today we're going to actually accept how the cards want to fall, because ultimately I feel like after this eclipse and what you're purging out, and also with the element of facing fears, it's almost necessary to just get that deep inner honesty and truth and transparency of what you need to know right now. So that's why we're going to read reversals today and really pour out that radical truth, even if it's hard to hear. That is honestly the most loving thing you can do, is to be honest and truthful, right? That is a part of the heart frequency, the heart consciousness. First and foremost, you got the Hanged Man. So this is a brand new view. It did come upright. So the Hanged Man upright. Now this is a major arcana, right? The Hanged Man says it's time for a sacred pause. Stillness grants perspective. Let's just repeat that for a second. Really absorb it into your being. It's time for a sacred pause. Stillness grants perspective. So where is it that you're remaining so busy that you're not listening to the inner body, right? Your inner authority, your inner worth, your inner power, your inner love, your inner honesty and resilience, your courage, your strength, right? That center sun. Second, you got the 10 of Cups in reverse. So this means unhappy home life, dysfunctional family, broken home, lack of security and stability. Exactly. So most likely you're facing a lot of fears and transitions right now through this eclipse, right? After this eclipse, it was essentially anything eclipsing out of your life that has to happen. It is for your highest good. It's anything unaligned, and it's also a karmic time. So this can mean both good and bad karma, but it's always ultimately for learning and your highest good anyways. So ultimately it's a good thing. So where you can do the work here, and one moment here, I'm just going to pause. Okay, so welcome back from the pause. This is so fascinating because as we were talking about Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided, right? So this is so interesting because I was just at the top of the mountain. I had to pause the video because someone came along and they said, unfortunately, this is a protected area. You're not allowed to be here. And I had no idea, right? Just as hiking and everything else. So this is fascinating because the fact that these elements have even come into the reading themselves, it's kind of calling you to, okay, where are you that you do not belong, right? Where do you need to look at where you do not belong? Because bringing these cards back out, and mind you, hiked way down the mountain and to the ocean, right? Where the sand and the light is. However, it took work, it took time. But now I'm in a place where I know I am allowed to be. And where it's calming and soothing. There's boats just moored in the harbor here. And it's immensely peaceful. So Spirit is ultimately saying to you, okay, where are you doing the work? You're climbing the mountains. And you're thriving, you're pushing forward, but are there certain areas that maybe you're not meant to be? So what are you pushing for that really ultimately is not good for you anymore? So what do you radically need to get out of, let go of, right? And that's ultimately what this eclipse has been saying, which is so interesting because here we are. Literally. So with the Hanged Man, you had this element of feeling trapped and limited and uncertain. And maybe you're feeling like a lack of direction. You're needing that new view, right? You're needing this literal new view. Like I'm literally in a new view right now, right? Because I had no idea I was in an element of nature that was protected or that we weren't supposed to be in. So this new lunar eclipse and the new moon, they are really powerful forces that humanity is kind of facing right now. So a lot of people are facing like a lot of anxiety and uncertainty and loss of direction. Inner authority feels conflicted and all this kind of like unease within your body and within your being. That is actually a good sign. It actually means that you're being shifted and readjusted into out of where you don't belong into where you do belong. So do not fear that, right? This is a time of that inner honesty, that inner trust to really face those fears and really reattain your alignment. Go with the flow of things, right? Just like I went through the go of the flow, even doing this reading that was transitioned from on top of a mountain to down on a beach. Very unexpected. However, it was a realignment, right? So this is also with the Ten of Cups in reverse. You had that as well. That's like the unhappy home life and dysfunctional family, broken home, lack of security and stability. So a lot is moving and shifting and changing. And you may feel like a lot of your fears are rearing their head, right? A lot of, oh my gosh, everything I've known is now completely wiping me off of my feet. Everything that I knew is now gone. Everything that I knew for stability or security or sanctuary is being ripped under me. It's like the rug being pulled under you. However, it's for your highest good. And this is what Spirit's saying, is like maybe you're coming back to more of the calm and the tranquil, right? Like I was on top of the mountain. That was a big hike. That was a lot of strenuous work, right? However, I was told, you do not belong here. You belong elsewhere. So I hiked down and here I am by the water. It's calm, it's tranquil, it's peaceful. The sunlight is still out, but it's harmonious. And once again, another honeybee. So interesting. So the other card you got was Judgment, right? And that's very angelic. That's very much to do with Archangel Michael. And this is to do with your guidance is divinely guided, right? This is a lot to do with your starseed message, your inner call message. So with Judgment, this is a lot to do with your third eye, right? It's your intuition. It's your higher knowing. It's your willingness to move through obstacles and challenges, right? Move with what comes and move with what is needed. So I'm going to come a bit closer here. So, okay. The thing with Judgment card is a lot to do with awakening, renewal, compromise, right? Decisiveness. But it also has a lot to do with like homesickness, right? It has a lot to do with that inner honor of kind of saying, well, what you've known, even if it's what you know, change is hard even when it's for your highest good, right? So this is where the spiritual realm, Archangel Michael, and your ancestors, your guides, your guardians, they're trying to remind you that you now have to forgive. You know, this is the final reckoning. This is where you have to call judgment not only on your own inner self, but also on life itself, right? Where are you being illusioned or delusioned? And where is it that you need to really step up to your call, step up to your destiny, step up into what it is that you always came to do before you came, before you incarnated, right? Your soul's contract, as well as your Akashic record, right? Like everything that you've already known and obtained, because this is about a mandatory change and choice for the better, right? This is where it's like you need to hold your true north now more than ever. You need to not succumb to fear. You need to feel through the feelings, feel the fear, but do it anyways. This is truly your judgment call, because this is another major arcana. And judgment is basically, okay, so the sentence that comes with the judgment card is, the daily choices I make now align with my life's purpose. So what choices are you making every day, in every moment, to truly align with where it is you want to go? And that's vital, right? That information is vital, it's important, and it's requiring that radical inner honesty. Because the other card that you got was the Three of Swords upright. It's a lot of pain that you've let go of. That's a lot of heartbreak, betrayal, loneliness, right? Feeling abandoned and unhappy, right? That's a lot of tears. That's a lot of pain. That's a lot of disorder and confusion from where you were. You probably didn't feel like you could be your true self in where you were, and you had to let that go so that you could really step into your true self. However, that doesn't mean that it's not painful, doesn't mean that it's not sad, doesn't mean that it didn't cause you a lot of pain and suffering and inner heartbreak. Of course it did. And that's where it's like this loss of like where you may have felt like alienated and really alone, and you dealt with like a lot of like upheaval and grief and sorrow and ill health and confusion and delusion, because that's where you have to really work through it. After that, you got the Five of Wands in reverse, right? And that in reverse means that you're suppressing a little bit of your voice, right? Because it's connected to the throat chakra. And like I said at the beginning of this reading, at the top of the mountain, I was going to read these cards whether they came upright or in reversal today, because today is about inner honesty, right? After the eclipse, this is about radical inner truth. This is about facing the fears. This is about feeling the fear and doing it anyways, like I said. So with Five of Wands in reverse, this is a lot to do with like compromise, right? And this is where you're really wanting to end conflict and struggle, and maybe wanting to make peace with areas that were really unfairly unkind, or maybe truly misunderstood your intentions, misunderstood your heart. And that can be immensely painful, especially if you always try to like explain or show, you know, who you were, but it could never be received because others were not on the same wave. And that can feel really lonely, really isolating. But this is where you're reaching agreements, and, you know, regardless of like petty backstabbing or like the ways that others maybe perceived you that was like not in the kindest of lights, when really all you have ever done is like tried to pour in like love and light, that can be immensely painful. And it can feel like complete betrayal. It can feel like the greatest betrayal because it's on a soul level. It's where you are not seen for your soul, your spirit, your heart. And that's where you're now being guided to ultimately face your inner fears and realign to where you do belong, into being around those who value you, see you, respect you, and you have nothing to prove and nothing to explain, right? When you know you're with the right people, you will not feel that you have to explain anything. They're going to already understand you naturally, because they're going to say, I get it. Like, I'm already on the same wave, and good for you, and cool. And like, you're doing it your flow way, I'm doing it this flow way, and like, right on. That's awesome. I hope you succeed, kind of thing. So very different energy, and very much where you don't feel like you always have to defend yourself or explain yourself or try to appease others or try to keep yourself limited or small to make others comfortable. That is such a hard energy to be vibrating in all the time. Confirmation with the dog barking in the background. Very hard energy to be handling all the time. So Spirit, any clarifiers on this energy spread in this one first row for the collective? Thank you. Wow. So the Magician came out. So absolutely, you are alchemizing out of this old energy. You are utilizing your gifts. You are reattaining that inner sight and that inner worth and that inner value. You're obtaining the courage now, right? You're obtaining that courage to really say, I am who I am. I know my soul carries gifts that are valuable for humanity, or valuable for myself, or valuable for the earth, or valuable for the new wave of consciousness that's coming in. Regardless of form of how you are delivering and kind of shining out your light to the universe does not matter. Ultimately, what matters is that Spirit is saying, you are the magician. You are the creator of your own life, right? We all are. And this is where fear is such a subtle energy that truly will test you. However, you are able to see it. And the thing is like you can quickly alchemize it, change it, shift it, transform it. You have that capacity. You're already doing it. Even you seeing this reading is already doing it. You already know what it is you need to do. You already know the truth. You've already discerned it. You've already seen it. You already hold all the wisdom and the alchemy within you to transform where you're going. So this is truly about retaining your true north, right? Do not lose sight. Because after that, you have the Council of Light. You have so much spiritual work and help in your favor. You also have all chakras lit up within your being. Because the Council of Light is about divine orchestration and its helpers in the subtle realms, right? You have no idea the tribe of energy behind you, rooting for you, supporting you, protecting you, helping you, gifting you insight, intuitive capacities, all of these elements that are just there for the forces of good, right? This is truly where like ascended masters, the guides, the guardians, the angels, your ancestors, this is all in your favor now, pushing you forth and forward, assisting you. So it's vital at this time that not only you connect with it, but that you trust it and you honor it. So you need to apply your inner capacities to retain the focus, the concentration, and the discipline to remain on track, right? So advice here, Council of Light for the collective. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Okay, only one came out, which is fascinating. It came with patience. It came up right? So this was Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles has a lot to do with the solar plexus chakra. It's will, ego, identity. So you are formulating your will and your ego identity into its truest form, into its authentic form, which takes courage. It takes resilience. It takes the willingness to choose your highest good no matter what. And this is like anything entrepreneurial, right? This is a lot to do with the fruits of your labor coming to fruition. This is a lot with like, you've probably been building a business. You've been building your entrepreneurship. You've been possibly entering into a new role or a new job. And it's about the quality that you've built over time, right? This is being like a master of your craft, knowing exactly what it is that you offer, what it is you have to deliver, because this is where you've held a lot of expertise, hard work, commitment, and accomplishment, ambition, right? And this is where you can now kind of step into that confidence to obtain the results and the rewards because they're all pouring in. So very solar plexus, to know thyself, right? That's your inner authority. That's where no one else can discern whom or what you are anymore. Judgments of others no longer will hold the weight that perhaps they did in the past because of past conditionings, right? So any advice on patience, the Eight of Pentacles, and this row for the collective? Thank you. Knight of Wands came out. So this is very like fire. This is very like beating to your own drum. This is, you can see this wild horse like rearing up, this black horse in the background. So it's very a powerful energy. This is like, I am in the joy of whom I am. I give no F's. I know my worth. I know my value. I know my power. I know that the people who deserve me, or the people who are aligned with me, or the purple people that are ultimately for my highest good, will honor that, see that, respect that, and allow me to thrive in that. So this is very powerful, because this is truly where you're finding that inner fire, you're finding that inner light, you're finding that inner resilience, you're beating to the own heartbeat of your own fantastic, unique drum. You are resilient, and you're now free, completely free. Wow. Yeah, very nice. Lastly, you had this divine guidance of yes, yes, just say yes. So this oracle of work your light is very necessary, because it's about finding that divinity, but it's not only within your soul tribe, it's within the self first and foremost, right? It's understanding the divinity of self. When you understand the divinity of self, very different energy, right? Because the divinity of self is actually the honor of the light and the dark. It's the honor of the shadow and the light. It's the honor of all that you are, the wholeness of self and the wholeness of others. So very, very different, because this is very much to do with like leveling up, right? This is very much to do with that star code, the higher consciousness, the higher view of life, and essentially all realms. And this is interesting, because on either side, so there's these three females, right? On either side, there's two of these women holding their palms upright to the heavens, to the receiving, to the spiritual realms. And then the center is holding like this, right? Which is very much the I am, the divinity, and the heart center. So this is the alignment of all that you are and all that you give out in balance, in duality. So we will... Okay, this is fascinating, because once more it cut out, and there is a baby crying in the distance. I don't know if you can hear it. So this is fascinating. We're getting our last clarifiers on what fears you're facing. So you may need to look to the inner child work. And also, third time's the charm. So you may feel that this journey has been quite messy and uncertain. Perhaps the energies for you have shifted really fast between like calm and uncalm, certain, uncertain. I know what I'm doing. I feel good. I feel thriving. And then all of a sudden, nope, I don't know. Is this the right direction? Am I doing the right thing? So this is fascinating. But as the world is evolving, as humanity is evolving, it's about retaining that true north. It's about continuing on, just like this reading, which is, I think, the only time I've had a reading that was cut so much. So clearly the energy is potent. We're going to get our last clarifiers with yes, just say yes, and what you most need to know right now. Okay, thank you, Spirit. So 2 fell out. Wow. Okay, fascinating. So just like this reading, regardless of obstacles, regardless of changes, again, a honeybee around me, it's about retaining your true north. It's about not giving up. It's about knowing your inner honor, because there's going to be so many obstacles. First and foremost, you got the moon, right? This is diving deep into the uncertain, into the unknown. And this is about trusting. This is about like the free fall. This is about the light and the dark. This is howling to the moon. This is calling on your guides. This is calling on your inner soul spirit. It's about embodying your soul spirit. It's about, the moon energies are very spiritual. It's very much about like the stars at night, the guiding light, even through the thickest of darkness, trusting in it, facing those fears, honoring those fears, understanding them, looking at them from more of an objective view. Where is it that you can kind of guide yourself and really be incredibly, radically honest with where you have either taught or been taught or obtained conditioning that was perhaps not for your highest good, even if you thought it was, that has held you back. And this is about diving deep. This is about going into the soul. This is about going into the heart, the spiritual realm, right? The hidden realms, because all of it is in your favor, because your outcome, boom, Ace of Cups. It's that inner heart's call. It's about your prosperity. It's about the gifts that you came here to do and to bring to the planet and to the earth. It's about trusting thyself. It's about outpouring your magic, your love, your kindness, your gratitude, your willingness to thrive in the world, your willingness to be a part of the new wave, your willingness to be a part of standing true to that call and stepping into that inner call, right? Because this is destined. This is honestly prosperity, but also it's your life's work. So it will become prosperous in more ways than you can imagine. You just have to continue forward. You have to let go of the external noise, the distractions, the opinions of others, other people's limitations or opposed limitations on you. You have to hold your own autonomy. You have to do what's right for you. You have to come into this place now more than ever that says, I choose me. I choose this call. I know what I'm doing. I'm stepping in to what I feel is my highest timeline, my highest purpose, what I'm passionate about, even if it seems like uncertain or scary or unknown. It's about pushing forth. It's about not losing sight. It's about that inner belief of self. You've got this. You've got this, Lightworker, Starseed. You've got this collective. If you found this reading, it's even more of a confirmation, because it's about facing those fears, like feeling the fear and doing it anyways, right? I think I've said this now 3 times. Really, truly, do not lose sight of your worth, your value, your inner calling. And even if others around you, even the closest of connections, if they cannot understand it, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But what is important is that you retain that true north. You retain that inner sight. You retain that true call of knowing, I can do this. It's close to my heart. It's who I am. So I will hold that courage. I will continue to take each step forward. I will continue to believe in my magic. I will continue to believe in my soul's destiny. I will continue to believe in the new age of humanity, this new evolving of the consciousness, this new elevation of the light. Because you hold it. You're already that. Very clear. So thank you. If you made it this far, just like I did, having to journey through even this reading, what a fabulous, unique, and explorative time we have entered as humanity. Just know the chaos is a part of the rebirthing, right? Just like any birthing process, it's messy, it's scary, it's painful, but what comes on the other side is this brand new life, this brand new rebirth, this brand new formulation of unconditional and pure love. It's beautiful. It is a gift. It is new life. It is destiny. It is gratitude. It is wholeness. Many blessings to you, and please comment hearts down below if you resonated with this and if you even made it this far. And I just send you so much light and love, and just know you're not alone. There's many light workers just like you. There's many souls waking up just like you. So find them, align with them, align with you, find you. All will be well. And you are so deeply loved. Namaste. And also, I do retreats and teachings and guidance and courses. So information below as well. Okay, cheers.